Welcome, Flip Clock fans. This is my Copal 227 collection, and I've needed a white one to complete it. And as you see here, this is not a white one. It's not a yellow one. It's a yellowed one. So this was supposed to be a white one, and obviously it's been sitting in the sun somewhere, likely in Japan, and I'll show you why. I know that for a couple reasons. This is a 100 volt for 60 hertz, and we've got some Japanese on here. And this is what this says in Japanese.
創立25周年記念株式会社コパル昭和49年5月21日
Which translates to
25th anniversary of foundation Copal Corporation May 21st, 1974.
I find it interesting that they pronounce it
コパル
and we say
Copal.
It's just curious. So this is a branded clock, but it's special because it's Copal branded. Commemorates the company that developed these clocks. They were big into shutters, camera shutters, so I don't know who this was given to. I believe it was probably given to some corporate person. And you see, the 227 comes in a lot of different varieties, and that's why I like it. And that's why I had to have a white one too, to complete it. And this one's kind of a special one. So this is either going to be a diamond in the rough. Look how white it's supposed to be. Or it's going to be a failure. There's a dust bunny in there. So you'll get to see here which one it is. Do we succeed or fail? Now this little technique here, this is exclusive to the 227s on how to get the face off safely. You don't want to be prying anything on these clocks if you can avoid it. Now immediately I see that it's not releasing on the other side like I'm used to. So this is the first indication that this clock's kind of sticky in places. That's not because something is on it. I just think because it's old. So we'll do the same thing here on the other side to try to safely get this off and get things started. So throughout this, you'll notice that I'm trying to take my time and not force the issue. This is in good shape. Again, it's not been around kids because they haven't put their fingers all over it and scratched it up. We've got some work to do here, but the mechanism itself looks really good. Now to get this apart, we're going to just have to take this one screw off. Of course, we have to get the knobs off too, which presents its own problem. Now right now, I'm noticing that things are tight. So we'll go ahead and get the knobs off here first before I try to get this case cracked open. It's just not given like I'm expecting it to. So I hope I don't mess this special historic clock up. But you'll see here in a second how we do this. Now, I've done this trick before. We use Gorilla Tape. You really can't use plain old duct tape. You have to use either Gorilla Tape or T-Rex tape. I find T-Rex to be pretty aggressive, and Gorillas come out with what they call a permanent Gorilla Tape, which I'm afraid to even try. So this is a regular Gorilla Tape. You put the handles on it like that. I think I'll put an extra one on just for fun. And then you're going to want to wrap an extra one around the rim here. And then I'm giving some really good pressure to kind of compress that down on there. Because you want some axial pull. You want to just pull straight away. And that was aggressive. So you see there's rust here. And it's kind of good to remember, in Japan, you're not far away from the ocean at any time. Same situation here. So we're going to go ahead and do the same procedure. And this one, you may not be able to tell, but I had to pull even harder. It's a little concerning. But so far I don't see any damage. Still have to work on this. So off camera I work on it a little bit. And you really want to start at the top. To open these, there's a tab you can release. Actually, there's 4 tabs, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. But the top's not given at all. So I spent some time working it and kind of tapping on it. And ultimately, I do get it loose. And you don't want to stick anything in there. You'll be tempted to stick a blade in there or something. Now this is one of the reasons I really like these clocks. You can see it's just a mechanism wrapped with plastic. It's really great engineering in here. So we just take these 2 screws off. And we'll get our mechanism out. And so far so good. I don't see any major problem here. It looks clean. And then when you look at the mechanism, you see the tape is in really good shape on the wheel. We're going to power it up here. Now, the seller said it wasn't working, so we'll see. But the bulb is clear, and that's rare. So it probably hasn't been used very much. Now, we're using 120 volts here. And I would imagine in Japan it probably didn't turn on at all. So we've overpowered it just a little. Now, you can't use 250 with this. Or 220. But the 120 is going to work fine. Now, the thing here, if you look at these tabs, they don't have indentions on it like you'd expect for a clock this age. So this clock was not used. Not used much at all. So it is looking like a diamond in the rough here. If we can get this rotor to turn, we're going to have us a good little clock. Now this is a lubricant that someone from Flip Clock Fans turned me on to. And that's what we're going to use here. Now you've probably seen this before, but on the back side of this rotor here, you want to drop the oil so it goes down to that arbor. And that's the issue. Now in the early days, we talked about putting alcohol down in there, and it worked to some degree. But it would mess up the tape, and it's really just a bad idea. You need a good light oil, and this one's going to fit the bill. What we do is we drop it down on the back side there. Now you'll see it coming down the front, and you know how fast it's progressing, but the oil on the outside doesn't help you at all, so we'll wipe that off. And once you know it's down there, you give it a good twirl. Now, the mistake some people make at this point is they expect it to be okay now. But what you want to do is you want to get it rolling, power it up, and then just let it run for an hour or something like that. Then maybe come back later and hit it with another drop of oil. Usually when you power it up, you'll have to get it started, but see, this one's doing really well here. So again, things are going the right direction. Now we turn our attention to this clock. Now that part on the inside, that can come out. You can see strips of glue there. That glue there can be cut with a blade if you wanted that out, but you don't really need that. And I'm going to whiten this case, and I think I can get everything whitened up without having to remove this. The badge is in good shape. We're going to use this Salon Care 40 volume cream. This is hydrogen peroxide they use for hair coloring. You use that, and you need UV light. You used to try to get a UV bulb, but this is the best UV source. The sun is what caused the situation, and the sun is going to get us out of it. This is my little setup in my backyard here. I had it out there for a whole afternoon. I did check on it frequently to make sure the heat wasn't building up too much. Now this is the concern. What's going to happen with the peroxide and this branding? Are we going to lose that? So that's something you can take bets on right now. I'd really like to keep it. It's not going to break my heart if I don't, but it is an historic clock. So we'll have to see. You might want to get your sunglasses on. Look at that. That was one afternoon in the sun with 40 volume developer. And it just looks fantastic. Now I'm going to power it up with 100 volts. I've got a converter over here that drops it down to 100 volts and it starts right up. So things are looking great. Alarm works great. So what do you think? Or do you want to know what happened? Well, let's take a look. And there it is. It survived. It looks more golden now. So we've got our historic clock intact. I'm really happy with how it came out. So I got my white clock in the special Copal commemorative version. Thanks for taking the time.